welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another broadcast here. Welcome back to the Patches TLMC21 Bash number 2. Something a little bit different here. Shout out to Patches. Patches, of course, has been running and organizing tournaments a little bit infrequently, but looking to push for things like his new patch or things like the Team Liquid Map Contest maps. This is another tournament looking to feature the TLMC21 maps here and now. Let's go, baby, let's go. I do apologize for going a little bit live. This is a replay cast, of course. True, this is a replay cast, and we were scheduled to go live an hour ago, an hour and a half ago actually, but I just was unavailable, unfortunately. It's been a rough day, just considering how late Wardy TV Monday did end, so I did actually go to bed a lot later, and it's less than ideal, baby, less than ideal. But regardless, we're here, we are back, and up first we have our first series. It's going to be SpeCial versus SKillous. Let's go. We have a PvT ready for us here, and again we're going to be featuring the new maps. That's what I'm most curious by, that's what I'm most interested by, and game 1 is going to be on Taito Citadel. Let's go. One of the larger maps in the map pool. Again, larger map, more macro oriented, and we'll see if we do get a longer game state here. The problem is that currently in TVP the meta is definitely designed to end the game early. We'll get there. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Taito Citadel, we have the blue Protoss player. The blue Protoss, we have the Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Mexican Terran, the red Terran. It is a SpeCial. We go. Against SpeCial, he has been competing and playing StarCraft again in recent times, in recent months, so it's great to see him competing here and taking part in the Patch Bash. Whew. But we'll see how he compares to SKillous. SKillous is definitely a little more in form. He did also take a bit of a break, that is true. And okay. Just obtain the YouTube title. But SKillous, he did take some time off to take a break post EWC, but now he has been back, he has returned, and definitely is looking in form. It was not too long ago, like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where SKillous did actually force Clem all the way to the ace match, had a very close, very clutch series versus Clem. So hey, if you can bring Clem to the ace match, it's going to be difficult here to bring SKillous down in the TVP matchup. Of course, it's a matchup that has been adjusting quite a lot in the most recent patch, especially with the hotfix as well, you know, with Storm, with Ghost, with Colossus becoming more viable as well. So TVP is definitely in flux at the moment, which is why I'm curious to see how SpeCial will approach this. Now, in my mind, at least in every other game, or in the previous patch, I would assume that SpeCial would all in, right? I would assume that SpeCial, he would all in at time and time again. In this patch, though, we'll see if he commits to that. We'll see if he goes into a longer, later game instead. We'll see how he adjusts his approach. For now, double gas opener, faster factory, delayed CC out of SpeCial. Does go for delayed CC. And when it comes to the map itself, welcome to Taito Citadel. I did mention earlier that this is one of the larger maps in the map pool, much more macro oriented. I will say that this is a little bit more accessible compared to a map like Tokamak, where we do have multiple entrances into one of the expansions on the right hand side, and we have a more accessible route here in between the bases as well. This will allow for the aggressing player to have more opportunities, more angles of attack to break a turtling player. That may come into play here for SpeCial if SKillous were to slow the game down. We'll see. In general, though, TP is typically a little more intense, a little more in your face, typically from the side of the Terran. So now SpeCial pokes in, gonna be zoned away. I see Senju in the chat. Live, yeah, he was actually fighting space crocodiles to save Australia from an alien invasion, and they were more tenacious than expected. It took longer, especially the fight against some other ship. Ah. True. I forgot my detection. Oh no. Oh. As the Reaper does hit the natural. The shield battery is ready, and so far doesn't get any probe damage. Nice defense here by SKillous. He defends, he deflects. So far SKillous is keeping up. Behind the SpeCial, getting to his own 1-1-1. Take the natural. They get 2 probe kills so far. Get some okay damage here at a SpeCial. We have our tech of choice, going to be Blink, and SpeCial going to be getting into his own Banshee follow-up with Hyperflight Rotors. Now, curious, SpeCial, he was one of those players that was fond of mech, true. I mean, especially against Protoss, like everyone was playing mech against Protoss in the last patch, and this time, okay, that's not going to be the case. Second ranks is on the way. It is going to be Bio, but we are going to be investing quite heavily into these Banshees. Bearing in mind that players that were already going into Hyperflight Rotors before the patch, with the new patch, this has been buffed. Hyperflight Rotors does finish a lot faster, and it is more accessible. Now, the reason why this has been rising in popularity is because Cloak Banshees have been less effective. The reasoning for this is because it has been more and more common for Protoss players to get a faster robo. You can see here, this is a robo before the third expansion. So faster robo means faster detection, means that Cloak Banshees, they have a hard time getting value. A really hard time getting value, at least in the current meta, because it was so prominent, because it was so popular. Protoss players have adapted into getting faster robos. So now, why invest into Cloak when you can instead invest into Speed Banshees? This does mean that sure, there's no Cloak, and you won't be able to hide your units or potentially take advantage of a player having no detection, but you expect detection here out of SKillous. So instead, there's more micro potential here out of SpeCial. That has been the benefit of going into Hyperflight Rotors. Second Banshee's coming in. Double Reaper between the bases. Again, you can see the observers spreading out. And here come the two Banshees. Two Banshees, they can one-shot workers. They can one-shot probes. They're headed towards the third base. And so far, SKillous here split up between his bases. We got 3 Stalkers here on the right-hand side. We have a handful of Stalkers here towards the left. SKillous spread. Banshee's moving in. And we do have a Dark Templar behind us as well. Bold move. Reaper gets shut down. Banshee's deflected. So far, 2 probe kills, and the Banshees, they get away. Again, so far so good. And now what we need as SpeCial is to scout the main. We need to scout the main base, confirm what's going on. Dark Shrine is still on the way. So far getting another 2, 4 in total. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol by SpeCial, but he gets up to 6, 7, 8 probes, 9 probes even. And 9 probes go down. We did just blink, which means the Banshees can get away. Banshees, they do boost out, and so far 11 probe kills, very nice damage. Not a single Banshee goes down, but my concern here is that SpeCial did not scout the main base, is not aware of the Dark Shrine. Now, DTs in this matchup, they're very hit and miss. As you can imagine, scan, right? As long as we can hold on to scans, as long as we're not muling, then scans are going to be available. Speaking of, we did just mule here, but the main base has plenty of energy, so speaking of, does scan the natural. And I believe should have enough for another scan. Yeah, has plenty. We'll see if the army is in position though, as SpeCial does move out. So let's move in. DT warp in alongside this. And SpeCial, he doesn't turn around. We're going for a base trade. So we're going for a base trade here. Stalkers have arrived as well. Going for the Banshees, getting one, getting both Banshees. Back at home, do we have any splash damage? The answer is no. There's going to be some defensive DTs that will help. There's a scan. Yeah, scan into the main base, but there's not much to defend. And this one DT just getting free damage on the main army. And SpeCial, does he have another scan? The answer is he does not. Okay, he has one scan in the main. DT still getting free damage. He kills the third base. Ooh, but he's losing everything in the main. There's a scan. Okay, there's that one scan. We need one more DT defensively. So there it is. DT's on the way. And the one Doctor, the Invisible Man, Pappy's going ham. And with that, SKillous, he should have this. He should have this. There goes second DT. GG gets called, and SKillous, he will take the game. He will take a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A cheeky move here out of SKillous, going for Dark Templar. As you saw, scans were very limited because SpeCial only had 2 CCs, only 2 orbitals, 2 base play here at a SpeCial, and alas, he did run out of scans. Back at home, he did lose his army, did lose his economy, and across the map, he only had, what, 2 scans available, and okay, there were just too many Dark Templar. GG. GG, well played. The Invisible Man is pretty good. It's pretty good. But here we go. Here we go. We're now getting into game 2, and we'll see if SpeCial can bounce back and make a series out of this. We'll see if SKillous can claim it here and now. So we're loaded into 10,000 feet. I keep wanting to say 2,000 atmospheres. I just, God damn it. Let's go. Sounded like he muled the moment that the War Prism flew into natural. That is true. He did mule at his natural CC, but he had, what, 3 scans in the main base. He made use of them, but again, the scans were still very limited. Very, very limited. Even if he didn't mule at his natural, that means that he has 1 extra scan. I don't really think that 1 extra scan is enough to deal with the harassing DTs. I still feel like, again, the fact that it was a base trade is what made it brutal. The fact that he had no reinforcements back at home was just a really rough position there for SpeCial to be in. Like, base trading versus DTs is brutal. It's But here we go. Here we go. We're now getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. It would help. It would help. It would help. Having 1 extra scan. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Mexican Terran player. We have the red Terran. It is SpeCial. As SpeCial does start things off with a proxy Rax, only a single SCV, so only 1 proxy, so this is not going to be like proxy 2 Rax Reaper or 2 Rax Marauder. But welcome to 10,000 feet. This is one of the rush maps, one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. We do have a mineral wall here coming into the natural, into your more secure 3rd base location. So you have a pretty secure 3-base setup here once you mine through those patches. At the same time, we also have these massive tumors. There are tumors all over the center of the map that open up and that make the rush distance that much shorter, and that open up the map, making it more accessible as well. Remember, they do open up just before 8 minutes, so getting into the later game state. Meanwhile, SpeCial going for the one. Oh, never mind. I was like, oh, it's only 1 SCV. He's going for the proxy 111, 1 base all in. So 1 base all in out of SpeCial. He's doubling down. He's committing. Now, SKillous, he scouts. He sees no racks. No racks. So SKillous, he knows that something is wrong. Something is amiss. And it's on SKillous to look for the proxy. Back at home. We'll see if he goes for a robo first. See if he gets the 2nd gateway. Going reactor on the racks. And there's that proxy 111. As you mentioned, just 1 base all in out of SpeCial. He's going to be proxying a tank. He can get Viking support or try to go into a Liberator. You can see the SKillous, he's scouting close by at the 3rd base location. I mean, again, this is quite far back. It's further back compared to the 3rd, compared to the 4th. So much more difficult to scout. Oh, I assumed it was going to be a tank, but no, going into proxy Cyclone. Okay. SKillous still searching. Still looking. He is opting to go for a Twilight Council, not a Robo. And we'll see if he ever does find this.
I'm here in the shadows.
Going for charge. Okay, okay. Going for a charge base opener. But the army's already here. SpeCial moving in. Now there's the safety shield battery. Cyclone gets a lock on. Lock on is broken. And now SKillous knows. Now he sees, okay, now the Cyclone is a proxy factory. He knows there's a 1 base all in. Gateway explosion is thrown down. And SKillous, the longer this goes on, the better it is for SKillous. SKillous just needs a little bit more time to warp in. Here comes that Liberator and the tank. Gets an SCV. The weapon is brutal. Shield battery does keep it alive. The first Stalker, the boy's being pulled. The Stalkers, they refuse to go down. 1 Stalker finally falls. He does get 1. It's 1 Stalker. SKillous will bleed out a lot of workers here. The natural shield battery out of energy. The tank is moving in. And the tank will siege. Yeah, with the tank sieging up, he cannot engage. Oof. Yeah, it's 2 volleys on the Stalkers. The natural is forfeit. Now remember, SKillous does not have to defend, right? The natural base is going to go down, but remember, SpeCial is 1 base all in, so it does not matter. He has to defend the main. Charge is finishing up just in time. And now it's getting on top of the army. Yeah, it does take down the initial Cyclone, trying to force some friendly fire. Nice target firing out of SpeCial. Does focus out the stalkers, and SpeCial, he doesn't. Yeah, SpeCial, he breaks through. Very nice target firing. And it was really unlucky here that SKillous, he scattered everywhere but the proxy location. Scattered all the way on the left-hand side. He's down to 2 gateways, and GG. GG gets called specially, pulls off the 1 base all in, and we're getting into the ace match. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, SKillous, he had a really shaking cage pushing into the army. You could definitely argue miscontrol. He was A-moving. He was A-moving with his stalkers, so the Cyclone took a lot longer to bring down. The tank, of course, survived as well. Really nice target firing at a SpeCial to focus on the stalkers and to make sure he did not have any friendly fire. And again, SKillous, he went for a Twilight Council instead of the Robo, so no defensive immortals, as he was being a little bit risky with his play. He didn't really know what was going on, and GG. GG, well played. He was able to buy enough time for charge, that is true, but he just didn't have the army to work with, and the choke point was working against SKillous there. And now we're getting into the ace match. Game 3 is going to be on Satellite Years. We go from one of the smaller maps to now one of the larger maps once again. I would say this isn't as large as Title Citadel, but a larger map nonetheless, and let's go. Let's get in. There's a lot to get into here. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Satellite Years, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid, being forced into the ace match. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player, the red Terran himself from the land of Mexico. It is SpeCial. Here we go. SpeCial is going to be opening up the ranks, is back at home this time. You need Ravens, I guess? No, sorry. See, someone sent you in the chat. So if you're referring to game 1, like the reason why everything was so chaotic and everything went so south with SpeCial is because he was all in, because he sent everything across the map. He wasn't expanding, he wasn't being more defensive back at home. So like because he moved out, like it ended up in an awkward situation for him, if you recall. Because he was so committed, because he had no army at home. That's why, despite the fact that he had defensive scans, like he had no army to deal with like the Dark Templar, right? So when it comes to the last game, again, like SKillous, he was unable to scout and determine what was going on. You could definitely argue that SKillous, he was maybe a little bit too cavalier, considering that like he knew that it was 1 base play, or he knew that there was nothing at the natural, and he knew that the Rex was missing. Which is why we did mention the Twilight Council opener instead of the Robo. As there are ways to open up in a safer manner. But for now, we're settling in. Again, welcome to Satellite Years. Satellite Years does have a really secure 2-base setup, but there's a ramp coming into the natural. This is not a common feature in modern StarCraft, so we have a ramp, so really secure 2-base setup. Now the area outside of the natural is more exposed. Here at the low ground is more exposed. The 3rd base is more open, as there is a wide entrance into the 3rd on the left hand side, and the low ground here as well. But what if you can get your 3rd base up and running? What do you have? You have a 4th right next to it. So the 3rd and 4th base, they're right next to each other, so you can set up on 4 bases relatively easily here if you can secure your 3rd. The big caveat, of course, is how exposed the 3rd base is and how accessible the area is outside of the natural. The longer rush distance, though, probably deters aggressive play. We'll see. We have seen a lot of 2-base all-ins and tank play make use of this area on the low ground quite well, and be able to pull off those all-ins. And that's what we're expecting at a SpeCial. Again, SpeCial is not really much of a macro player. We expect like aggression, we expect all-ins. That's what we've seen so far in this series. And we'll see if that trend continues. SpeCial has yet to get a 3rd CC. That just hasn't happened. SpeCial is also trying to dive. We do have a force field. Despite that, one Hellion goes down, doesn't get into a mineral line. The Stalker getting quite low. Nice pickup, gets a Stalker. Yeah, so far, better trade for special. Does get the better trade. Now going for the Sentry as well. Ooh, brutal pickup. Sentry goes down. And now I can go for the mineral line. It's one more probe. And so far, again, better trades to special. He gets 2 workers, soon to be 3 probes. 3 probes go down, he gets away, he preserves the army. Go to Sentry, go to Stalker. And once again, special is going for Hyperlight Rotors. It's going into Speed Banshees. This is looking similar to game 1. I say similar just because this time he did invest quite heavily into Reactor Reaper. And it has paid off. So a nice start here for special. And we'll see how many gateways, I say how many gateways, 2 gate blink. So 2 gate blink at a SKillous, a greedy build from our Protoss. Going into a delayed robo. Oh, Reapers, they get in. SKillous, he will miss the rotation. And more probes are going to be going down. And getting another 2. SKillous, he commits across the map. But especially because of the red, because of the high ground, I don't really see him getting much done here. Oh, he blinks into the Marines. Yeah, big mistake. He blinks in, he gets punished, losing 1 Stalker. Losing 2 Stalkers. Brutal losses there for SKillous. Again, he wasn't expecting that many Marines. And so far, the early game has probably gone as best as it could for special. Like, this has been the best start that we've seen getting in towards the mid game. Special killing 3 Stalkers, a Sentry, 6 probes. Getting more damage down across the map. And SKillous is in a rough position. Now, remember, SKillous, he did go for a faster third. He's going for a later gateways. He still only has 2 gateways available to him, and he's vulnerable to a 2-base all-in. Right now, special, he's gearing up for that. We have Stim on the way. Oh, never mind. Special, he does not go for tank production. And we'll see if he throws out 2 more Raxes. 2 more Raxes would be indicative of an all-in. Otherwise, he technically could expand from here. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, he's far enough ahead where he can just get further ahead. This time, SKillous, he reacts well. He deflects the Banshees. And SKillous is building up towards Colossus. So the Bay is on the way, getting to Colossus production. 2 more probes go down. We spoke about the looking for 2 more Raxes. There it is, 2 more Raxes, 5 Raxes in total, 5 Raxes on 2 bases. Special is going to commit. He's choosing not to expand. We'll see if he gets add-ons or not. We'll keep an eye on him. As Stim is finishing. Stim, combat shields. Now SKillous, he does want to move out. And this one's SKillous to buy time. He has to buy time here for his Colossus. Gets a Marine. Gets a Marine, he forces out a Stim. So a good start for SKillous. And here you can see the rush distance by ground coming into play. The Banshees, they spot the mass charge ult, they spot the Colossus, nice snipe on the Sentry. But this is taking a long time to move out. And especially starts the add-ons. Yeah, he starts the add-ons. This is indicative here that we might start a 3rd CC. As he's still rallying, still committed. SKillous getting a 4th base. SKillous, he does spot to move out with the Observer. He knows. He is aware. And special, I feel like this is taking quite some time here. There we go. I was like, we're taking too long. The boys are being pulled. 2 base all in. No surprise out of special. But I don't know if it's going to be enough here. Not against 2 Colossus. I mean, thankfully there's only 1 Sentry. We'll see how he can engage. Does get the Immortal. Nice pickup. Yeah, the Immortal is exposed. Immortal goes down. Nice start. The mine connections. Oh, they do graze the army. All the SUVs go down. Shield batteries not quite coming into play. Yeah, they're going to get depowered. Nice pickup. Colossus is going to be moving in. There's 2 Vikings. Down to 1. 1 Viking left. And SKillous, he should have enough here. Yeah, especially he tries to go for the dive. He cannot get on top of the Colossus. And he's going to be cleaned up. He's going to be cleaned up. This is not enough damage. Even has a disruptor. Nova goes up. And Special will lose everything. He'll lose everything. Remember, he pulled the boys. It was all in. And SKillous will shut him down. Ah, it does get one of the Colossus. Okay. Does get a Colossus. Just one. Just gets 1 Colossus. GG gets called. And SKillous, he will take the series at 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. And you could see how long it took for a special to actually get across the map here on Satellite Years. This is where the larger map does impact and does negatively impact a player going for an all-in. SpeCial had a lot of time to build up, a lot of time to respond, and sure, especially he did pull the boys, he did have that extra supply to work with, but again, like SKillous, he already had 2 Colossus, he had a massive amount of Zealots, he was up 20 army supply. It was brutal just how much army he had to work with, and the longer the game went on, the worse it was for Special. So it just took a little bit too long to really get the all-in going, despite the really good start. Like again, Special, he was doing really well with his Banshee harass, with his with his Reaper harass as well. He was doing well leading up to it, but again, he did opt to go for the all-in, and it did take a little bit too long. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to SKillous. SKillous does claim the series, and he will advance on to the grand finals. To the upper bracket finals, I should say. And he's going to be going up against the winner of our next series. Let's go. Up next is going to be a best of 3 between Geralt and Cristiano.